everybody. I'm John Eitel, and we're going to be running through our session today. It's called From Handoff to Orchestration, the partnership between sales and marketing. Tracy and I will go into our backgrounds in just a second, but a topic that we're really, really passionate about and excited to share with you all today. But without further ado, jumping into our bios and backgrounds, my name is John Eitel. I'm the Chief Sales Officer here at Demandbase. I've got over 2 decades of leadership in kind of sales and marketing in fast moving, hyper growth tech SaaS companies. So I've been a part of this sales and marketing journey, from lots of different sides and seen it lots of different ways and have a good sense for I think what a healthy partnership looks like.
Thanks, John. Hi, everyone. My name is Tracy Kraft. Excited for you to join our session today. I am currently the VP of Global Revenue Marketing here at Demandbase, and I've had good fortune in my career to be able to provide growth-oriented support to amazing companies at all different sizes and scale, from a marketing perspective, from a revenue perspective, and all with underscoring that the impact revenue teams can have on a company's growth trajectory is completely profound. And if we work together as sales and marketing, the sky is really the limit. And so I'm super excited to be here today with all of you and alongside my partner here, John, to talk to you about sales and marketing partnership. Back to you.
Awesome. All right. Well, what we're going to talk about, as we both mentioned, it's a topic that we're really excited about. I think, when it works, it just works, and it's such a powerful thing. And so, the bullets that we hope to cover, are going to be that the B2B, buyer's journey is more complex than ever. How do we adapt and meet buyers where they're at? To be successful, obviously sales and marketing need to be in sync and highly aligned and structured around their go-to-market strategy. I love this, but sales and marketing in my mind is a marriage. It should be a healthy, high-functioning one. And so I think that's we're going to weave through this as well. What to do to set it up for success, how to alleviate the tension and the strain that can come from the pressure cooker environments that we find ourselves in, and how do we drive for clarity so that our teams function effectively together. So without further ado, I wanted to kind of just set the stage and just talk about maybe some of the obvious things that we all know are that are happening or see and sense that are happening. But the buyer's journey is changing. It's no longer that linear, I would say, straight funnel kind of model. It more resembles, I would say, a spaghetti bowl than a line. And buyers are more savvy. They come to you at different points in their kind of discovery. They like to self inform themselves. Look, they also are not trusting as much of companies messaging. They want to go vet it with a trusted friend. They'd probably rather saw their arm off than put their name in a contact sales form or for to get gated content. And so we need to figure out how to not try to force them into the old way of doing things. We need to understand that this is just a natural trend that's happening, and we need to be able to meet them where they're at and give them the things that they need to make a successful decision. And then it goes without saying, the economic headwinds are at an all-time high. We're all feeling it. I would say, pressure, is on. Everybody's trying to figure out, how to survive in this new normal and be able to thrive and be successful. And so, that also, adds, I think, more complexity to this. The sales and marketing relationship, can be a tense one at times, right? And I think when it's at its worst is when these things are at play here. And so want to make sure that we acknowledge that there's a lot of change and there's a lot of shifting going on that make this talk so important here, right? How do you get to that high functioning zone, or how do you make sure you maintain a high functioning zone in this relationship? So to cap this off, alignment is more critical than ever. I think that's Tracy is probably going to talk about this too, but it's really comes down to the partnership that we have and how we set our selves up for success, how we have clear understanding of each other's goals, and we make sure that we're working together, hand in hand. So just some, I would say table stakes for, what we think it takes to be successful. You have to align on, goals and outcomes, communicate often, figuring that out. I think, in this new highly distributed world, is so important. So building the right rigor and cadence for that, making sure that you're measuring regularly, right. And making sure that you're adapting and adjusting as things come up or change. And then hopefully celebrating together, right? How do we make sure that when we achieve these big goals, both teams feel like they're a part of something winning together. I'll pass it over to you, Tracy. I was going to say this is your slide here.
Yeah, no, John, I think that's a perfect introduction to what we're seeing in the market, what I think all of you joining us today are seeing. So the most urgent strategy in B2B today is focusing your time and money on the accounts that are most likely to buy. And as John mentioned a couple of slides ago, we know that that is harder than ever, which means that we as sales and marketing and revenue, customer, account-oriented functions need to be working in tandem, need to be working in partnership in order to succeed. We also know, as John mentioned, that 95% of the customer's journey is done without talking to a salesperson. So how do we make sure that our plays are orchestrated in lockstep so that when they are ready to raise their hand, when they are ready to engage with us, we are going to support them along their journey, knowing that they've done a ton of research and spent a ton of time understanding what we have to offer before they've decided to talk with us. All the more reason to have go-to-market alignment, and that is so much better than go-to-market fragmentation. So the old way of doing things back in the day was this handoff. Marketing would do their thing. We would run a bunch of programs, maybe generate some leads, and we toss them over to our sales counterparts and say, hey, here you go, go do your thing. We know that that's a little bit silly given the complexity of the buyer's journey today, given the technologies that are available to us as people looking to purchase new solutions, as well as how teams interact. We are all aligned on the same goal of generating revenue for the business, so it behooves us to play together as a team. And in fact, we know that this alignment isn't just ideal from a workplace behavioral perspective, but also from the standpoint that it actually creates opportunities. We've learned that organizations that have tightly aligned marketing and sales teams grow their revenues faster, 24% faster over a 3-year period by one study. And these same companies increase their profits by almost 30% faster during that same time period. And then back to the cultural standpoint, 90% of the customers say that having a strategy that's focused on the right objectives, that's focused on the same goals, drives that alignment even tighter. So, making sure that your goals are aligned, making sure you have the same objectives, and working together as that orchestrated team all leads to goodness. Some additional studies to share. You can take it a step further. When the sales team is aware of marketing campaigns, they feel more empowered as an organization. They feel like it is important, that information is important to them to win their business. We also know that sales reps that understand what the accounts or the opportunities are doing within their patch or within their respective territories helps them do their job better. So, more information that marketing has that they can then give and offer to the salesperson makes them more successful. And then finally, the sort of like the thing that John and I are so passionate about and why we're here today is that when sales and marketing teams are aligned, when they are partnering, when those plays are orchestrated, those teams, those companies see an average of 19% faster revenue growth and 15% higher profitability. So all of this information just completely underscores this importance of, we are a collective revenue team. We are not a sales and marketing team separately. And if you're not aligned yet, that's okay. You have to start somewhere, and there's a few things on the screen here that, you can take as a guidance for maybe how you might want to get started. So first, John mentioned this, agreeing on those business outcomes and goals. What are we collectively working towards? And you could say, your revenue targets, your pipeline targets, of course, but what are the leading and lagging indicators that get you there? Who are you trying to go after? If, me as a marketer thinks we have a different sort of target ideal customer profile than John and the sales organization, then we're just, getting off on the wrong foot from the start. How do we select our target accounts? We should have the same pool of accounts that we think are most important to our business. What are those leading and lagging indicators to track? And we'll show you a little bit more behind the scenes of how we look at things at Demandbase in a minute. And then really, really importantly, meet regularly. This is not something that, we build and set and then leave and, come back 3 months later. This is a practice that we show up for every single day as a collective team. All right, John, I'm going to toss it back over to you for some commentary on some examples here.
We're getting to test this sales and marketing relationship in real time here. But yeah, no, it's so important, all the things that you really drove home there. I do feel like, we're hearing it with all of our kind of top brands and clients that, they need to find, new ways to grow and really do it in ways that drive home that model of efficiency here, right? We can't be, frivolous in our spend. And so I think everybody can relate to that, depending, regardless of what size company you are listening today, where you're at. We all need to get better at that. I actually think one of the funnier comments that I heard from a sales call recently was that, one of the CMOs was on that said that, we can no longer afford to do the spray and pay method. They made the mistake of saying that instead of spray and pray, but I thought it was a really awesome slip. And look, that's, how it's probably felt, right? When we were doing things with more of a broadcast style here, hoping it lands with our audience. That's inefficiencies there. And so, it's great to think that, you can use tools to be more, aligned and tight and make sure that the money that you are spending is landing, with your audience, with your buyer, and helping your teams be more effective. So jumping into the examples of sorry, go ahead, Tracy.
No, I was just going to say, I couldn't agree more. And I say, if you're up for it, I say, let's pressure test this a little bit. What do you say?
Yeah, I think so. So, look, I think, just again, constant themes here, but, making ABX stand-ups, part of, what's, what you're doing. I do love, a lot of the things that Tracy touched on there. The keys to having a great working partnership between sales and marketing is that you're doing things together, not, one doing it to the other. It's, we're doing it together as one here. And so, having conversations around, the buyer, making sure that we are resetting if things change, making sure that we are, aligned and we're taking the right steps in action. And we do that in our kind of day-to-day to make this kind of part of the rigor of our operation here. Yeah,
absolutely. Couldn't agree more. And one thing I'll just add to what you just said is that this is something where, I always look to the sales team to guide me as the marketer, right? I want to know from you what's happening and, what you think the best play could be, and I'll go and help make that come to life. I don't want to assume. So this sort of co-dynamic relationship that we build and work out every single day comes through in these conversations all the time. All right, this is kind of tactical here, but I think this one is a cool one to bring up. So, in my career back in the day, I won't tell you when because I don't want to date myself, but there was a time when marketing would choose which accounts they would go after and which accounts would be a part of a campaign. And then, when ABM and then certainly ABX came on the scene, who made up the target account list? And then we would kind of sit and wonder like, oh, why don't we have as much buy-in from the sales team as we'd want? So, we at Demandbase make sure that this is a collaborative process where sort of marketing provides the data behind the accounts that have a good high quality score, but ultimately it's the sales team that selects who should be on that target account list. And John, any anecdotes from you would be awesome on this one.
Yeah, like I think, they're, my favorite kind of just term for this is like doing it with sales, not doing it to sales, right? And I think you should think about that when rolling out these strategies, right? I think we have really smart marketers who, have some great insights on, where to direct, a lot of our efforts here, but it needs to be that hand in hand, motion here, and it needs to be highly adaptive. And I think where I see this going well is giving sellers the ability to choose and select and lean in on this, so that they feel a part of the strategy, not just accountable to it. So I think it's key element, and it's such an important thing to do. And I would say, sometimes I see teams skip this because they just want to make it easier. I think there's always the concern of like sellers' time right now, and how do you keep them focused on the right things. Don't do that with this particular exercise. Make sure that they are involved, they're bought in, they feel good about the decisions that are being made, and we're all kind of jointly coming at the strategy together. And so I think this is a really, I would say, focused, intentional process that really helps drive that alignment, and then, hopefully keeps us both accountable here.
Absolutely. This is another favorite of mine, that we've been just really fortunate to have at Demandbase, be a part of Demandbase, but also embrace as a go-to-market team. And it's a shared view of the deal cycle. And so from my standpoint, what I love on this is this real true visualization of how sales and marketing work together to usher an account through the deal, and showing the various touch points along that cycle, and how everything is working together to ultimately come to fruition in a closed won deal. And what does this mean to you, John?
Yeah, I mean, I think it definitely highlights that conversation earlier about how buying behavior is changing, and it has that spaghetti bowl to it, approach, and it's not what we traditionally probably used to see. And so this is really, I think, a great way to see like how you're meeting them where they're at with the right touch points, and sales and marketing together doing that, right? I think that's the key. And so really does kind of help, and it shows that we're tracking with them, not forcing them into our kind of process or way of doing things here.
Yeah, absolutely. We talked already a little bit about shared metrics and goals and accountability. This is something that we look at, every day at Demandbase, and showing how our top of funnel metrics are performing, as well as once things move into a sales engagement. How do you think about these types of metrics yourself, John?
Yeah, look, I think this is a great illustration, one of the type of visibility that you should have with your organization. So we all know kind of the inputs and then the outputs, and we can kind of see where each of our efforts, come together. And I really feel like it does do a good job of highlighting that baton being tossed in the, being handed off in the relay race between, our two organizations. And I think, when done in the right way, again, this is a great visual to keep us, aligned and accountable. It's also a great conversation starter for when things don't go right, which they will inevitably, right? And so that's the beauty of, how do you stay aligned, and how do you build this strong partnership? But if you've built the right healthy dynamic, and you have this great visibility, whenever things go wrong, it allows both teams to adapt together in real time. And I think like one of my favorite, kind of moments in my career where I saw this happening was, we would have our regular stand-ups, we'd have our regular report outs, and we saw, one of the metrics that we had geared around didn't come in as expected. I think it was actually like an event that we were running that marketing saw, a higher population of, opportunities coming out of, and it didn't come to fruition for various reasons. And it was great because we had built such a good, healthy dynamic, that the marketer that was leading this campaign said, hey, we made expectations, that we weren't able to make happen in this, current situation. So unfortunately, that's going to put us off of, some of the other assumptions we built in this model. And it was great to see then, sales lean in and say, like, actually, we've been doing some upgrade campaigns that we hadn't really accounted for, and they're showing, better performance or better success. And so we've got you, and we're able to kind of cover each other's, backs here. And so it was a really great moment of just showing, like, when you do build this, kind of shared understanding of how we win together, if you have the right visibility, when things don't go right, the team's able to step in and help each other. And so I think that, something that I would say is key for everybody who's thinking about this in their various contexts. Build this relationship and dynamic into your processes. We're going to all see things, maybe go, some things go as planned and some things not. And this is how you build that healthy balance where teams, will step in and will help each other out.
I totally agree. And I think it creates that common language too, so that even though, you can say you have this shared accountability on a business goal, but, backing that up to things like the leading lagging indicators that you see on this screen creates that common language of like, these things are important to both of us, and we can find those opportunities that, might be missed, or when something goes wrong, like in the example you just gave, have a place where we can offer some course correction if need be. And it's because we have that language that we understand from one another that we're able to do that more effectively.
Yeah. And I think that's comes back to the communication aspects too. And I think everybody's had to think about, what is the right balance of meetings? How do you prioritize these types of activities? But I would say make it a priority if it isn't already, or if it is a priority, continue and double down on that, because I just feel like, when things go sideways, it's better to jump on it in moments. It's better to hit it head on and not wait till the end of the quarter when we start to see, things really not landing as we expected. And so this is, I think a really great, springboard and has helped us stay in sync as a team here.
Totally agree. And then of course we have some help, right? It's us as people, it's us as teams, it's the cultures we're creating within our go-to-market organization, but we also have this joint solution. And I'm going to let you talk about what that means to you, and then I can share what that means to me as well.
Yeah, I think it's a powerful thing. And I think, when I think back to my early days of selling, and I'm going to date myself. It's been a while, but I think that, this really was, it was a lot easier for us to stay in sync in the good old days. And then look, things got more complicated. We introduced a lot of really, I would say, great technology advancements, different improvements. But ultimately we live in different systems at times, right? And so that fosters some of this, kind of bad behavior or problems that come up, right? Marketers live in marketing systems. There's a whole MarTech stack and there's a whole sales tech stack, right? And sometimes those things don't correlate or come together. And so that's where really things, I think, from my point of view, can go sideways as well, where there's, great things that are happening, in the marketing world that maybe aren't being handed off correctly, or they get lost in the transition from one set of systems to the other. Sales is doing great things on the other side in their equation, and marketing can't see some of those touch points, right? And so I really love that we have this single experience layer. We have this, joint console, if you will, to bring all these great pieces together. That really allow and foster, Tracy and I to have this great relationship and have this regular kind of dialogue. Even when we're not meeting on a regular basis, we can always kind of go to Demandbase One and see, how the different efforts of our teams are tying off and correlating together.
You said it better than I could say it myself. And this combination of all of this data we have available to us, and really producing that intelligence, the way we like to talk about it here at Demandbase, really then provides us with the same experience. I love that language, as a sales professional, as a marketing professional, so that when we go and call that play, we are starting from the same understanding. We are, able to be more effective, more impactful, and it takes a lot of the guesswork out of what we need to get done in this highly competitive, highly complex world these days. So it really is a product of building that sales, or a component into our sales and marketing partnership, for sure.
Yeah. I mean, not only we live it every day, we use it with our teams. Not only do we sell it as a product, but we also, we have a very strong demand base on Demandbase story. And I really do think that it has been a game changer for connecting us, and really kind of drives that really kind of end-to-end, visibility and accountability. So it's, it has been fun to have this as a tool, as we focus on building the strongest partnership we can have together. We have some cheat codes or some hacks that help us here with our tool.
For sure. Well, everyone, thank you so much for joining us. This conversation is one that I hope you can tell John and I are both passionate about. We can talk about it probably all day long. And, I'll let John sort of recap, the main takeaways from our conversation today.
Yeah. So hopefully these all ring true and maybe get some guidance here. But, I think the things that really lead to that successful partnership are aligning on the goals and outcomes. Communicate often. I feel like we've said that a lot, and I think it's so critical and key here. Measure regularly and celebrate together. I think these things, really, help bring together the teams. Help us navigate the turmoil and chaos of the economy and the world we're in today. Coming out of it as a stronger, I'd say partner at the end of this, and being able to achieve on our goals together and win together here.
Awesome. Thank you all for joining us today. If you want to learn more about what John and I talked about here today, or just learn more about some of the strategies and ideas that we put into place at Demandbase, please feel free to take advantage of the offer you see on your screen. This is your way to get go-to-market certified. Just follow the URL and use the free code GTM certified in order to get that free training and access to all of our free certifications. But most importantly, we hope that today's session has been helpful to you, and we appreciate you joining us today. Thank you so much.